Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm live here with you at the JTV studios. Richard DeCastro, your host. I'm here with the Speak Your Mind show. We're here with you after a short break. We were off last week to accommodate the trade show. We're here live with you tonight, and of course we want to interact, dialogue with our good citizens all the way from Anegada to Josh Van Dyke and all the other islands in between, Virgin Gorda, Peter Island, Salt Island, Norman Island, the whole long and short of the Virgin Islands. We know that there may be even fishermen out there on the north, which could be as much as 200 miles away from us. But if they're listening to us, we want to represent them as well. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we're here with a live show, and we intend to touch on some of the pertinent issues that affect us here in these Virgin Islands. It's been a little break. We had a couple of events that happened while we were on break. I think it was all positive. But we're here. And let me introduce my guest as well, Mr. Bevan George, who is here with me again. And Bevan, welcome back.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good to be back. We had a little break. I had a little trip. Took a little trip off.
Okay.
And call a friend, tell a friend we on. So let's have a nice discussion, something positive. We can't talk negative all the time. Let's just speak positive in the atmosphere and uplift the place, because the last couple of weeks, look at the Beaver this month, because we were under some serious attack from outside.
Yeah.
We had terrorist threats.
It looked like they were planning to attack us from all ends.
All ends.
On the top, on the bottom, on the side.
So we got a lot to thank God for. So let's be positive and call a friend, tell a friend we on. And let's just start a discussion.
And one of the things that we're going to talk about tonight too is the traffic. I notice we're getting a little ease with the traffic now that the line to the electricity line to we call that place up there now Longbush is pretty much out of the way as far as the traffic is concerned for the time being. Yeah. It's just like the home stretch now.
Yeah, they're right on the
corner. Yeah, they're just on the home stretch
right by
now.
The church.
Right. So I think that's something that will be good news for us, because that should help with the traffic. We still have some challenges with the traffic though. There's some areas where water was repaired and the guys didn't get around yet to fixing it back. One place that comes to mind is Paraquita Bay, just as you pass where we used to call the dip.
By the college.
After you pass the college.
Right on the corner,
Yeah, that's a little challenging area right there right now.
Yeah, because
it's a blind corner, and
persons running from the construction part.
People running from the hole in the road, and then it could cause an accident. So that's something. Yeah. And also too down in the Seacoast Bay area, we got some challenges down there as well with where some drains were put in under the road to take the water to the seaside, and they haven't been fixed back as yet. So my advice to the general public, as usual, is to drive carefully. Pay attention to to what's going on. Slow down when you see the workers in the area working, whether it's water and sewage, public works, or any private contractors. Reduce your speed and give the workers a fighting chance. At the end of the day, we are going to enjoy a much better, improved infrastructure, better driving conditions. So, do what you can do to bear with the situation for the time being. Another topic related is the vehicle conditions. I know that the guys at the DMV are doing a marvelous job of inspecting the vehicles.
Yeah.
And ensuring that that everything is safe with your vehicle when you license your vehicle. Now, the period from when you license your vehicle to when you license it again is another story. I personally think that maybe that might be an area where they might be able to tighten up on what's happening.
Well, that's law enforcement, sir.
Yeah, that's a lot. Well, yeah, but it's both. You know, it's both of them have to work together, because you know, you see some conditions, especially in the night, where sometimes you see guys driving with one light or white light in the back of the vehicle and stuff like that, and you know, you know for sure that those things wouldn't pass inspection.
Yeah.
So I think it's a two-way thing. I think some effort needs to be paid to look into that area, and inspecting or stopping in the day would not correct that.
Yeah, you have to do it in the night. Yeah.
But then again too, it might be more difficult to do it in the night.
But maybe they short manpower. Remember they say police short manpower.
Yeah.
So you never know.
Yeah, but it's something I think that we can look into. We all want a better Virgin Islands, and we want to be safe and comfortable, and you know, we want to see the country develop in a positive way.
Yeah.
But another thing I was going to mention too is this is our old long outstanding one, the licensing of professionals, all the way from where we started talking about the licensing of attorneys, and then we went on to architects, engineers, accountants. You know, the whole I think that whole area needs some serious discussion and some closure to it. You know, to ensure that we're getting the best value for money, and also too that some measures are put in place. I think we've went through a period where we were in the developmental stage, and we train a lot of professionals. A lot of people went away, come back, some people went away 2-3 times and come back.
Yeah.
So I think it's okay. Yeah, we got a call. Let's go straight to the phone. Yeah, good evening. You're Speak Your Mind. Go right ahead, please.
Good night.
Good night.
I want to speak about Eastern Clinic.
Sorry, I didn't get that.
I need to speak about Eastern Clinic.
Eastern Clinic, go right ahead, my dear.
Yeah, because that clinic there, that's a historical place. And that one, you're planning to close it down, so you don't need to permit one Eastern and one Long Loop. And you have old people, in Eastern, you know, they cannot walk to Long Loop.
Okay.
So they need that clinic.
Mm-hmm.
And they have enough laws they could share, so I don't know why they want to close it down.
Well, I myself don't know why they want to close it down, but
I think they have enough.
When I talked to my representative about it, Marlon, and he said we're looking into it, so I waiting.
okay.
Because they can't just take my Eastern Clinic, that was the stuff flying around. It's a long road, and they can't just take it and close it down. That would be right.
This is the clinic right next to
the
what we call Dennis gas station.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they think they having a plan to like have
More
a
central.
multi clinic
Okay.
where they'll stop the Long Loop clinic, they'll stop the Eastern Clinic, and they'll have one big like a mini type hospital type thing.
So the commission, the Somerset were there, and the car to the main commission again, and they have to catch a bus to drop them Long Loop to the clinic down there.
Okay.
And you know, all that stuff is not right.
Okay.
You know, so they need to, if it needs fixing,
Mm-hmm.
they need to fix it.
Mm-hmm.
Because the clinic never is open for the whole week, it's only a couple days.
Okay.
So I don't see what the problem is.
Well, I know one of the things I probably saw discussed a long time ago. I don't know if it's coming back, but I saw an idea discussed where the whole Long Swamp area, you know where the police station is, and that reclamation in the front there. There was an idea of developing that area into a civic area, which would have I guess stores government offices, etc. In an effort to.
Well, that thing going to happen. Not with the
What-
government that we have.
What you
Thing
say,
will happen.
Miss? What you say
We
thing
don't
will
need a
happen?
government.
We have to develop. We have to develop, and we have to continue to develop. You know, a lot of these developments don't happen in 4 years. Sometimes they take a lot more than 4 years to happen.
And I tell you, the thing will happen. A lot of us go dead before that happen.
We have to have a.
Because they have so much of thing in front of these things we're talking about. So much of things to they have clinic to build, drinking water. They have school to fix. They have a lot of different things, and they may want to sell it to a building a brand new clinic. No way. So all we got to do is fix what they have.
But Miss, if I tell you what I'm talking about was talked about maybe something like about 30 years ago, you know.
So like that, I mean to tell you, even 30 years ago, nothing happened. They think it will happen in a few years. It will happen in 2 years.
But I understand.
They need to look into Eastern Clinic. If
But
they want to fix, all they have to do is get people and fix it, but they cannot close it down. Cannot.
I understand the issue.
Until when they decide what they want to do, whether they want to do a big clinic half and half, like between Langlook and Eastern. If they want to do that, but they cannot close the Eastern Clinic. That's the Eastern Clinic or they have the Langlook Clinic. And they have enough nurses that they put the Eastern is to have their own nurses, Langlook is to have their own nurses.
Yeah.
So I don't know why they want to close it down.
Right.
That would be nice.
No, it wouldn't be nice because I understand fully well what you're talking about.
Yeah.
We have a situation where through the clinics you can do a lot of the things that you can do with the elderly and the young people and dissemination of information about various diseases, etc. So I'm in agreement with you that the clinics serve a very good purpose.
Right? That would be Connecticut to be, and then after they moved it from there, they went and built this place there after the gas station. So that's a historical place, so how they want to close it down? They cannot close it down.
All right,
All they got to do get people and fix it if it needs fixing.
all right, my
So
dear.
they were talking about water in the yard. All they have to do is a place with that children grab or something. They
Okay.
don't have to condemn the clinic because of that.
All right, I take your point. I'm sure persons who are listening to the show would also make action on what you're saying as well. So thanks for your information.
Thank you very much.
All right, thanks. Yeah, we have another caller. Go right ahead, please.
They're gone.
Yeah, good evening. You're free to speak your mind. Go right ahead, please.
Hello?
Hello.
Yes, good night, gentlemen.
Good night. Good night. You're live. Go right ahead.
Oh, okay, yes. To answer the caller's question, I have gathered information from the health authorities that they were going to turn the clinic in Eastern into a laboratory and turn the one in Langlook into a 24-hour clinic to accommodate having labs and a clinic in the Eastern area.
Great. That sounds like some resolution.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the people saying if they're going to close, yes, they're going to close that one down, but it's transfer it into a lab so that they can do labs in the eastern end of the island, so they don't have to go town or go, to get labs done because the labs in the eastern.
But the lady raised a good point, though. She said that there was a bus that took persons from that area over to the Langlook clinic. Maybe that is something that could be considered as well.
Yeah. So that's what the plan that I look into it already, and that's what the authorities told me. So I just want to pass it on so that the lady listening could understand what's going on.
All right, but thanks for that clarification, my brother.
No problem. Anytime, my brother Cody.
All right, thanks. Yeah, so
That's a good idea.
Yes, it's a good idea that we have. I like to talk about exponential needs because as we grow, we have different needs, and sometimes the needs are more than what we can afford at a time.
Yeah.
And it's always a challenge to meet the need. And if making, various arrangements to meet the need, sometimes you have to, and sometimes you have to look at the short term and the long term need at the same time.
But something like that to me they should have put out as a public notice.
Well, they're probably planning to, I guess.
Yeah,
like,
because I don't
but
know.
like you were saying, we had so many activities. We had a lot of activities over the last couple of days.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
maybe it got put on the back burner a little bit, but I'm pretty sure they're gonna inform the public, since the public uses the clinic, and people would have appointments
Yeah.
with various health professionals, etc. So I'm pretty sure they'll put it out, informing people of the various changes that they're making. It sounds to me like a positive change. Or if you're going to, have a lab in the area, right? So you wouldn't have to necessarily go all the way into Road Town.
Yeah.
As you know, East End Longlook is really the bedroom for the community.
Yeah.
That's where everybody go to sleep after working all day. Ladies and gentlemen, the sponsors that make the show possible asking us to take a break. We're going to take a short break and we're going to be right back with you. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we're right back with you after a short break. We were having some very good discussion on the Eastern Clinic, and we got a call that came in saying that everything is under control. They're going to be refurbishing the one in the East End to be the laboratory, etc., and they're going to run the clinic out of the Longlook Clinic. We were also having a little discussion offline about tourism, right?
Yeah.
We were saying that tourism seems to be making some strides, right?
Yeah, that's one good positive thing we must say about our pillars, because financial services, to be honest, we ain't really doing so good on that part. According to the last figures for the last quarter, it dropped down to about 9,000 incorporations from 11, and sometimes the highest used to be at least 17. But tourism itself, the cruise fare is one of the reasons why it's gone up, because they had a big drastic change with the new bought-in agreements. But you have to see it all across the board, the overnighters and the day trippers. Tourism been up. In 2014.
Hold that thought. Let's go to the phone. Good evening. You have reached Speaking Mind. Go right ahead, please. Good evening.
Yes, you guys touched on another topic that I was listening to there. Yes, financial services, is coming of age. We've been doing it for 30 plus years. I think, listening to the House recently from the Honorable, Kevin Pickering, he said it's time for us to diversify from our dependence on financial services. Some people in the community that I have talked to said agriculture and fishing should be our next industry. But what do you guys think about that?
Well, I don't know if you heard me talking about earlier in the show about the 200 miles to the north. We have 200 miles of open water to the north. We have decided not to, well, I shouldn't say we have decided, maybe a lack of funds. We don't really police it. We don't really sell it. We don't really use it. It's a golden opportunity.
Yeah, that's true. But the environmental advocates would say that if we go down the fishing path, we might do overfishing. And how do we compensate for overfishing if it does occur?
Yeah, they might say that too. But if you have 200 miles of territory, and suppose it was land. If you had 200 acres of land, and you refuse to put up fence, or you don't have any cattle, or you don't build any buildings or whatever, it would just stay there, and it would appreciate in value, but it wouldn't be as valuable as if you had to develop it. Correct?
Yeah, that's correct. That's correct.
Okay, so if we have this thing, we don't have any Coast Guard, We don't have any means of we don't have any satellite imagery and all that kind of stuff. It's out there. It's ours.
Yeah.
But we're not putting things in place to manage it.
Yeah, but recently, according to what I read after the financial, the standing committee's verbatim, the chief fisheries and commercial officer says that is controlled by the Border Police Force in conjunction with the Customs Department. So are we saying that?
Picture what you were saying. Picture what you were saying. Picture what you were saying. 200 miles from here, right now.
Mm-hmm.
You think there's anybody out there? I'm willing to bet.
Well, I doubt anybody's out there.
Nobody out there.
Nobody out there.
But nobody don't have to be out there too, right? Let's understand something. There's enough technology and surveillance available, but you have to invest in it.
Yeah, but I know drone technology can solve that problem. We all know that. But, they have to do laws and stuff to regulate the flying space and how far you could go. It's a long process. We know that. But that's one avenue that they could go look at, the drone technology.
But to answer your question, remember you asked about, I think it's an industry, but I don't know how viable it really will be. Because who really and truly, we got to go right back and train people again to want to go into this industry, because it ain't just about catching the fish. Who you going to sell the fish to? That's a whole new marketing thing. We got to go and try to sell these fish.
But that is where it comes in tandem with our with our fourth pillar is tourism. That is where we have cruise ships. That's where we have hotels, and we have overnight housing here. We have to sell it to those people. They have to invest in the third economic pillar. It's all going to be one pillar has to support the other.
I agree with that. But let's see.
I do agree with the minister to a point, but I say agriculture has its place in the Virgin Islands. And we need to find a way to get agriculture along with fishing on board as third economic pillar. So training people in this avenue and making it inspiring has come from the educational point of view.
Yeah, that's what you have to get people interested in it, because right now, really and truly, who really interested in going farming?
Nobody.
No, because number one, when you look at the farmer, the image that we getting as farmers is like they really have a lot of money, and everybody want to be the big shot, driving the Lexus and have a big chain. That's the mindset some of us in, and that's the image we get across from financial services. These people is big shots. So nobody really, the generation before us, they didn't went and stay in the farming industry or in the fishing. They went to get education, and when they come back, they give up all about that whole industry. So we really got to go back and train a whole generation back into showing them there's different ways and there's different things you could do, and you could make a good living off of it.
Yeah, but Mr. George, let's say you're a millennial, right? You grew up in the age when the internet was just known as dial-up, right?
Yeah.
So you understand the bridge between the old way and the new way. Am I correct?
Yeah.
So it is up to your generation to teach the generation now that in school the benefits of fishing and farming and how much money can be made there.
Okay, I understand that. But some of my generation don't want to do it at all.
But when we have to plan, you'd be surprised. If you want to make a will, there will be a way.
Okay.
Carl, I agree with you now. I agree with you. Once we're able to show persons how valuable and how serious this area can be, I think they would come on board. Just take a look at how the fisheries has been turned around recently. You took a look at that recently?
Yes, I saw the minister made a big impact in increasing their capacity. And recently in the House, he said that he wants to make it more of a corporation, like how the electricity is. Make their own business on its own, let it fend for itself, and let the fishermen farm co-ops, and let it do the fishing on their own.
Okay.
We have to make the legislation and make the market for them to sell their stuff.
Yeah, you gotta get the markets for them.
Well, all of that sounds good, but what I was talking about, say for example, Coast Guard and and surveillance of the 200 miles is not a big investment for the type of area we're talking about, and it shouldn't be done overnight. I think it should be planned.
It takes time. Yeah, I understand that. It takes time. But we can't take it count overnight. It takes time. We have to build the momentum first. We have to see the market potential and go from there. And I agree with you on that one, 100%. So I'll let you guys go back and further discuss it. Thank you again.
All right, thanks, man. Yeah, Bevan. Sometimes I hope people don't take me wrong, but sometimes some of the things that we speak about, it can't happen overnight.
Yeah.
It can't happen in one cycle. Sometimes it takes 2-3 cycles. But you have to start a discussion. You have to start talking about them. You have to start planning. You have to start putting plans in place. I know, for example, in many years ago, the Federation of Sinkers and Nevis, they have a Coast Guard. It's a very, very, it was at the time, I'm not sure what it is now, but it was a boat similar to the Oriole, and it was outfitted with guns, etc. And you have a Coast Guard. We have taken it for granted that we can monitor things from on the land, and we have a dispatch service and all of that. But I think it's more than that now. If you're going to seriously be, it's two pronged. One is safety, and the other one is surveillance.
Yeah.
You have something, you have to protect it, or else it's free game for everybody else. And I think there's money to be made in the whole process.
Yeah. But there's a good discussion that we need to have another, at least a third pillar.
Yeah.
Because
we have banks that could be mapped properly and coordinates shared with the fishermen. A whole bunch. Some of the areas where we catch fish, only guys who know where they're going could go there.
See.
It's so sad because it's like as if you don't know where Eastern is.
Yeah.
If you don't know where Eastern is, you can't go Eastern.
But I still like for us to ain't just sell it amongst the BVA, but get it as an export product.
Of course.
Because you could
have the license.
So much various different things with that.
Have the license. They could even go a step further of doing everything on the water. You could get your license on the water. You could go to go fishing on the in the same breath. But I guess we'll see the further development. We'll continue to talk about these things. We'll continue to to make persons aware that all these things are possible. But it's good to see that we're diversifying. The tourism sector itself is diversified as well.
Yeah.
We know that there's a number of areas where tourism is happening. It's not just the cruise ship, but it's some land-based.
The number is going up because 922,000 compared to 772,000.
That would have been for 2015.
Yeah, 2015 and 2014. That's a big difference. So we have to say tourists were doing their job.
Okay.
A good job. And they're doing a good job. You can't knock them. They're really doing a good job. Because the tourist arrivals are going up. And,
we still have a challenge in tourism, which I've seen in the news as well, though, is that we have to find a way to move around the tourists some more,
Yeah.
Destination.
And even getting them here easier,
and also once you get them here, don't let just Tortola be the focus. The Virgin Islands is vast, beautiful, multi-experience. You can't have the same experience on Joshua Dyke like what you have on Virgin Gorda. It's a total different experience, and I think we have to sell all these experiences because you never know where a guy might want to go. Yeah. Somebody might like here as a destination, Tortola, but they never ever been to the Bats. I know some people come here and they don't want to go any place else. but the beds. That's the only destination, and that's good, because the more niche markets we could produce, the better for the tourism market. And like you were saying, it's true. We have to seriously look at the further development of how people get here.
Yeah, that's one of the big issues you keep hearing all the time.
That's one of the big issues.
It take too long to get to the BVI.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see when they come to the BVI Airways agreement or the government sign. Cause to me, they ain't giving the money straight up front. They have what do you call it, goal marks to meet.
Yeah. Goal posts. You have to do XYZ, and then
before you get a next set of money.
Yeah, that's usually something that would help with management.
But if we could get a straight flight at least once a day, that should be a good thing for us.
But we have to continue to monitor these activities,
and
see how they're developing, because that's one of the things about being vigilant. You have to continue to pay attention to what's happening, and that way we can understand if we're experiencing change or not. Good evening. You're free to speak your mind. Go right ahead, please.
Good night, Courtney.
Yeah, good night, sir.
I'm your co-host.
All right.
Good night.
Good night.
Courtney, I spoke to you a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Concerning the situation of persons coming from outside into the BVI, where it relates to entrepreneurship, and the fact that I think it was your co-host who said that you can't really tell BVI landers what to do in relation to going out there, bringing in maybe a franchise or someone else from outside and setting up business in the territory.
Okay.
Now, Courtney, my point is this. My point is, if you, Courtney the Cat Show, go to Puerto Rico and bring a company in here, it cannot be to the benefit of Courtney the Cat and his family alone. I have a major problem with that.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, that Courtney and his family is going to benefit, and that company is a big company, and they're going to make millions of dollars out of this country. At the end of the day, most of the money is not going to stay here. It's very important that when we have investors come into this country, that we get most of the money stay in this country and circulate this economy. That is what makes our economy strong.
I agree.
So this is the problem we are having. Now, I heard of a gentleman who came here down years ago as an ordinary person, and he is now owned millions. And what he has owned, he decided to sell. And what that company is going to be sold by an outside chain of companies. Now, Courtney, this is somebody coming in from outside to dominate our market. And this we're talking about food security. Food security is a national security. When you get outside the control of food, we have a major problem. We should never allow things like water and food be owned by expats or outsiders.
Okay, but they are.
If there's something to happen in this country seriously, and they decide we ain't getting enough food, or we're not getting the shutting off the water supply, we'll face the trouble. So those kind of things should be always owned by big islanders. And I'm really scared about what's coming up. Not only that it's going to be dominated by an outsider, but that chain of operation can flatten what we have here already. The way I see it is very scary. I'd like to hear your comment.
Okay, first, we already have franchises. We already have franchises here. So, the question about franchises, I mean, there's so many franchises that are
a lot of franchises,
and we have some new ones that came recently.
Yeah.
And the other issue that I would like to explain to my colleague there, right, is that if I want to sell stone, I have to get a license to sell stone. If any transaction that has to be done, you have to go through the legal process, right?
Yeah.
And it can't be done illegally because the government would not allow it to be done illegally, right? So once it's being done legally, I have a problem with objecting to it.
Exactly.
Because just based on the fact that we're supposed to be law-abiding, we're supposed to be able to follow the laws. If there's a loophole or if there's an area that needs correcting, we need to talk to our legislators and ask them to correct it.
Yeah.
Right? But once it's already a situation that exists, franchises, we have. I don't want to start calling names, but we have many franchises here.
You don't want to call names.
No, because it's a lot.
People,
it's a lot.
there's
No, but it's a lot.
Yeah.
And you don't want to single out anyone, right? Because some of them, maybe people don't know their franchises.
Yeah.
You see? But we have a number of franchises here. And I don't know if some of our audience understand how franchises work, but you or I could buy a franchise, right?
And you just pay the fee.
You have to pay the fee to get the use of the name and
the advertisement,
the advertising, and the discounted product.
Yeah.
Okay, and usually what makes a franchise different from the other business is that the quality control.
The head market decides that.
Yeah, they decide the quality control, and you have to use the products that they sell you.
Yeah.
You can't just
go off the street, go Bobby's and buy something.
Yeah, you can't go buy bread from somewhere.
Yeah.
It don't work like that, right? So they're selling a product with various parameters based on marketing.
Yeah.
And marketing is a very
But it'll help you with the marketing.
It's a strong sales pitch.
Yeah.
The marketing. Now, saying all of that, right? I think that on the show already, I have spoken about the fact that some of the businesses that we have should look internally, right? They should look internally, like selling shares to the employees, right, and stuff like that, to get buy-in from the employees.
Yeah.
Okay. And that in itself is a way of raising capital. Some businesses need to raise capital. You can't continue opening your doors every day and selling the same product. You're not going to meet those goals that you want to meet at the end of the day if you do business the same way every day, right?
Yeah,
so maybe you need to improve.
Yeah.
You need capital to improve. Where you gonna get this money from? And maybe if you got more employees involved in the business, they may show more interest in the business because they have ownership in the business. Right, and that maybe might argument some of the decisions that we see being made in business, because you would have no not a set of disgruntled employees who want a raise and want minimum wage, but you would have shareholders.
Yeah, shareholders. Yeah.
And you'd have people who have a vested interest. They say, why are you throwing away all of this money in the company? Why don't you save some, cut expenses, and by cutting expenses improve profit?
Yeah.
I don't know if all of that relates to the issue that we're talking about. I think it's a very complicated issue for the owners, and I think they're going to make a decision that's I think the best decision as it relates to that would be a decision where they improve the product. It seemed like we lost that caller, engineering. Please ask them to call back. Could you please call back? There you go. Yeah, good evening. You're speaking mind. Go right ahead, please.
Yes, hello.
Yes, hello.
Yes, talk about the franchises and stuff. I draw another conclusion about minimum wage. Last year we got a report that we're supposed to go to $6 an hour.
What do you think? What do you think about the report? I think, in hindsight, now I think the report was a little flawed.
Well, we all know that. I personally believe it should have been $8 an hour.
No, no, not that aspect. I think the aspect of it I'm concerned about after seeing what happened in neighbors next door in the U.S. Virgin Islands. They could have make more than one adjustment over a period of time. I think that would have been a more, since we haven't done anything for the last how many years, maybe we could have looked at it like for the next 2, 3, 5 years or something like that. But just to make one decision, it sound to me not like it wasn't really really deliberated for a long period of time.
And I do agree with you. I am one of those people that believe a systematic increase in the minimum wage is something that should be done. But my question is now, what's taking the government so long to get it done? And if the so-called franchises are coming in like crazy, like according to certain people, are they going to implement, the same strict for minimum wage, or would they put the new recommended, figure that's going to come on stream?
Yeah, that's something important to consider, and I think it begs the question as well as to when persons get permission to enter the country and do business, etc., what kind of negotiation goes on? Because if you miss that negotiation, in my opinion, that's where everything falls down. That is the key.
Because I can't see a company going to say a franchise come and they say, oh, the last year they paid minimum wage $4 an hour and we didn't stick to the minimum wage or just above minimum wage. That's tight nonsense. We in the society know that $8 minimum wage is what needed.
Yes.
But we haven't gotten there yet.
Right.
But like we say, things are expensive to buy and so forth. So we have a long way to go. But I want to bring up point in this conversation with franchises. Would franchises do what's recommended for the employee to survive, or would they follow the guidelines flat key of the labor law?
Well, I couldn't agree with you more that's something that should be taken into consideration at the time when the whatever documents are being signed for, to change ownership or to change the present arrangement.
Okay. All right. Those are my 2 pointers on the combination of franchise. Thank you again.
All right. Thanks. Jeff Bevan, that's a good observation there, as it relates to the personnel and what would happen to the personnel. Ladies and gentlemen, we have to take a break for the sponsors that make the show possible. We're going to be right back with you. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we're right back with you after a short break. We were having some discussion here about the minimum wage and the living wage and why it took us so long and where are we right now, where, what's on the horizon, whether or not we're going to see some movement or whether or not we're going to go back to, the decision making and ask for, not for one increase, but for more than one increase over time, rather than having to put my good colleagues back to work so quick, on trying to change whatever decision they would have made and already wrote a report about. I think sometimes we need to look at the long-term effect rather than looking at the short-term effect. And as we were saying, a living wage is really something that we should be looking at when we're talking about a minimum wage. And of course, a living wage is simple. It speaks to how much the goods and services that we have to purchase cost now, as it relates to 15 years ago when the minimum wage was raised to $4 an hour. Yeah. So we have a number of things. You can look at the price of bread, you can look at milk, a number of staples, and you can see. Good evening. You're free to speak your mind. Go right ahead, please.
Good evening, gentlemen. How are you doing?
We're doing fine. How about yourself?
I ain't too bad. You guys are probably joining late, but I heard you discussing a number of issues tonight, including franchises and the economy and minimum wage.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things I'm saying is that I think we need to be a little careful that we depart too far from the principles the country has been founded on. The principles that has led us to a great small nation, as we would say. And one of those things that H.L. Stout wanted is for big islanders or citizens to not be a lazy people and to do business and to be educated and to occupy yourselves with work and business, because that's the way that you continue to build your country for yourself and for your children and for the future generation, as our national song is saying. And so it always seems like an easy way out to either have a franchise or to let somebody do it for you. But in our country, the more you develop your people and the more you develop your own business skills and you learn and you perfect stuff, then you could continue to compete, not only globally, but you keep your money and your investment within the territory. One of the challenges that I continue to see us having is that as we look at new developments that are required for the country to go forward, we continue to look for outside investors to do it. Now, does that mean that as big islanders we have not invested enough within the community, or we are not paying attention so that we are the ones who can make those investments to make the country grow? I think the principle of what you can do for yourselves, the kinds of businesses that you can do for yourselves, you have to continue to do those. And maybe the places where you need professional assistance from outside, maybe you can explore those for a time. But as a people, you have to continue to pay attention to those things. You don't give away your opportunity, the things that you could do for yourselves. You don't give away those to somebody else. You do those for yourself. This is what H.L. Stout taught us. So I don't know.
So Carla, let me ask you.
How are we going to go in? You talk about the number of different franchises that we may or may not have, but I know how important it is to keep the money circulated within the territory. Go ahead, sorry.
No, I was going to ask you, in your opinion, how we've been doing so far, because I hear a lot of stories. I hear we have unemployment. When H.L. Stout was around, we didn't have unemployment. I know we have we have some challenges where a number of persons that are saying, oh, the young people don't want to work, that you can't get them to work. And in some situations, you have some young people who they show up for work on Monday and then they come half the Tuesday, then Wednesday they don't come at all.
Well, I don't like the reference because we make it sound as though all young people don't show up to work. Okay. And I know that the small percentage of young people that have that problem is a small percentage. I know a tremendous amount of young people that work throughout the entire BVI. Very intelligent people, a lot of them have gone away and developed great skills, educated themselves, and continue to work throughout the tourism industry, throughout the financial services industry. And this castigation to me, where we try to make it look as though BVI landlords don't want to work because you can find 10 of them on the side of the road that don't want to work. I don't like it because that's so in every country that I'm looking at. We know that young people globally having problems with not only the education system but paying attention. And I'm very sure that the unemployment in the BVI is probably the lowest among all the numbers that I have throughout the Caribbean and as well as a number of different places. So, whether you tell me that, yes, I am not going to say that if you try to get every single young person to work, that's you don't have challenges there. But I don't use as a blanket statement because BVI landlords work hard. And a lot of the young people work hard, including the young family who are right there next to you.
Okay, colleague. Then there's also the argument that we have some people that go out and they invest heavily. I mean, they buy equipment. Some people spend $2-3 million positioning themselves, and then when you look, they're excluded from certain jobs. They come up with some other reason why they can't get the job. And I mean, I know one guy in particular. I mean, I really don't understand. This guy went out and buy specialist equipment. This is the only person have that kind of equipment, and they can't get a job. So you see, we have to look
again. I don't like it. I'm saying to you that we have to be careful that we don't depart from the things that have been beneficial to us our young people the things that have made the BVI strong. It is something that many people come to the BVI and wonder, well, why you don't have a Kentucky Fried Chicken, or why you don't have this, or why you don't have all of these different things. But these things are some of the key things that not only make us special, they keep our economy strong. And sometimes in the rush to have something where we figure that some country or some other individual can do it for us better, you know, you have to be careful. It's not making you lazy. You have to continue to have enough pride in yourself to want to do business in your own country. In the United States now, they're having so much problems with, you're looking at the election, they're looking for businesses, they're looking for jobs that disappear, and the leading candidates are talking about bringing back those jobs and having a better structure within their country. You don't want to, we're so small, you don't want to fall within that type of a situation. If you're not paying attention, you won't be able to see. Then you will have to continue to show the young people, you know, how to pay attention to these things, understand what kept the BVI strong, and how we are going to go forward.
But Carly, you have to take my point strong. I mean, you have to take my point as well. What I was saying, regardless of whether we bring people in or we develop on our own, the agreements that we make must fall within the laws and must be supported by our government, and it must include things. In other words, we must be inclusive. If we want the company to build some houses for us, it must be included in the agreement. If we want them to pay XYZ taxes, it should be included. If we want them to build a library, it must be included, because that's the only opportunity we have to do that.
I agree, and so the point I'm making to you is that when there are areas where we do not have the expertise and there's opportunity to learn from countries who may have done it before, then of course you put those things in. But when there are things that you know that you've been doing for donkey years, and you have businesses that are doing and operating, you're still going to bring those type of, to me, I would call it unfair competition, because sometimes there are major companies that have major manufacturing advantage. It's not possible for you to compete with them. So it would be obviously an unfair competition. You're going to sink them in your small market and allow them to continue like a straw to suck money out of your territory. It doesn't make any sense.
I agree with you. It doesn't make any sense, but we're seeing it happening.
Well, I'm speaking out against it. So that's my contribution for the show.
All right, thank you. That's a strong point my colleague is making there, because it's something that's happening on a daily basis, you know, where we're seeing companies coming in here and they're getting advantages that, in my opinion as well, these are things that we can do.
Yeah, right.
So we have to start drawing the line in the sand, you know, and saying what we're going to give out, what we're going to give away, and what we're going to keep. I like to use the word giveaway, because some people don't really understand the other way. You know, what is it in it that I can relieve myself of? Look at it as an insurance policy. You know why we buy insurance, right? We buy insurance for things that we can't handle.
Yeah, just in case.
Just in case. Let's see if we had any text coming in. Nobody. It don't seem like we have any texts coming. Well, colleague, you know, we're running into the end of the show, so we're gonna have to start doing a little recapping on some of the things we were able to touch on. We were able to talk about traffic, some of the traffic conditions. We're talking also about the vehicle conditions, the conditions that we see vehicles on the road. The one I talk about as well is the licensing of professionals, how we need to step up the requirements, everything, put the various things in place to ensure that we have, you know, the proper licensing of professionals once and for all in the territory. I think we've sent away enough people, that we have enough people here that we can you know, move the ball forward. We talk a bit about tourism, the registration of companies, which is a bit down. We got a call that spoke about the closure of the clinic in East End, and we heard from one of our callers as well that it's going to be turned into a laboratory and would better serve the Eastern Longlook community, where they're going to have one part of the clinic operating from in Longlook and another part of the clinic from in Eastern. So that should be a win-win, I would say.
Yeah, it's a win-win, man.
Yeah. Then
You don't have to come down for no lab.
Yeah,
You
then-
do everything Eastern.
Then we were able to talk a bit about the minimum wage or living wage, as it would be. I wanted to touch a bit on directors' responsibility. That's becoming a key issue in our territory now, as we have to become more compliant and have to pay greater attention in the way companies are structured, and this whole thing about ownership of companies, etc. I'm going to come back to that when we get a chance. And I also want to expand on home ownership and the possibilities for us homeowners. There are a number of things in place that I could speak about that I think some of the citizens in our country may not know about. So we're going to hold those two for the next time we come back on the air. You have any lasting thoughts you want to leave with it?
One of the caller was saying that the legacy that Honorable Lavistow left for us. I remember somebody was telling me a story that one of the reasons why he built the college is because he say people ain't going. He said, let me say like this: my people ain't going to go nowhere to get no knockabout.
Right.
So I can educate my people.
Right.
So his vision for us is to be the leaders and the ones in the forefront. That's what the caller was right. So that's why we have free education up to the tertiary level. The government are trying to continue on that level. And my opinion is no Beaver Islander should be uneducated. Because we're giving you free education all up to the third level. But when we come back from school, you need to give us the opportunity to do what we learn. Give us a chance to implement what we learn.
That is so
Give
correct.
us a chance. You got so much young people who got different ideas. You fall, you gone in government, you gone in a business where everything's stagnant. Because they used to do it this way, they don't want to change. And you have these fresh ideas, you ain't getting a chance, you fall back and be like, man, whatever. So, give us a chance. And you have to agree with the caller there. Beaver Islander is supposed to be the one in charge of everything. Believe it or not.
Yeah. We got a call. Yeah, good evening. You're free to speak your mind. Go right ahead, please.
Hello?
Yeah, good evening.
Yeah, I agree with the dad. The government send us away to school and, you educate the people, but you don't give them a chance to express themselves. Some have the argument to say that people have got what they call subprime mortgages, that you get equity of your house, and some have fallen victim to that. So by the time they get to 60, 65, they still have that debt to pay into their retirement fund. And the fact on top of the wage thing, in the UK, they have done a new experiment called living wage.
Yes.
And I think in a Dutch country, they have done an experiment called a basic income, which is paid, your Social Security gives you a check every month to pay your rent, your light, and your water.
Yes.
Or even for food and clothing is up to you. But your basic necessities have been implemented. Those are things that we could try or look into and research into getting in the BBI. But like you said before, the employers back here, but how do we get them employed? We have to create the environment in which we have to give them a chance to express themselves. Yes, the smart business bureau is there to create, smart businesses. But the number one factor for most businesses is funding. And what the government is trying to do is getting that investment so that people could, start small businesses so they can grow the economy. That is my 2 cents on the whole thing. Thank you again.
No, thanks for adding that, because I think what you're putting out there is very true. We need to look at other models other than our model and see what we can learn from those experiences and what we can implement here ourselves. I'm familiar with some of what you speak about with the Dutch model and stuff like that, and I think some of them have some excellent things that we can implement here that would improve our lives as well. And while you're on that topic, I think it's high time that we look at our representation in the UK as well, because there's a big issue going on right now about whether or not England should stay in the EU. And we benefit from being in the EU, and we need to have a voice, and we need to send a clear message out there that we need England to stay in the EU because of our benefits that we get out of it.
Yeah, yes, but like I said, we should have a whole different topic, and I haven't done the research on it yet. I found the rumors about it, but I haven't really gone in depth in it as yet. But that's a good topic we could touch on another time. Okay?
All right, colleague.
Thank you.
Okay, we're out of time. And ladies and gentlemen, we had a wonderful show. Thanks to all the people that called, all the people that text, and all the people that interacted with us. I think we had a wonderful show. We can say definitely that was so. And at this time, I usually say, God bless these Virgin Islands and the people that live in them, and we'll see you again next week.